Hello. So in this video, I'm going to go over all the problems in the final exam study guide for the algebra course. So let's start with number one. So number one, well, the first part we're dealing with exponents and scientific notations. And for number one, we've got y to the power 7 divided by y to the power -3. Now, from rules of exponents, if you forgot about rules of exponents, I did a video on exponents and then scientific notations. Please go back and watch that video. Now, because this is a division problem, y to the power 7, I can rewrite it as that, divided by y to the power -3. Now, from exponents or the rules of exponents, anytime you're dividing exponents with the same base, if I say the same base, the y is the base. Y is the base. So I've got exponents with the same base like this. A to the power x divided by, x to the power a divided by x to the power b. The rule says then you're going to subtract the top. You're going to subtract the tops. So we're going to apply this rule or principle to this problem. We're going to apply this rule to this problem. So we're going to have y to the power 7 minus -3. Now, negative times negative is positive, so that gives us y to the power 7 plus 3. Y to the power 10. And that's it. Okay, all right. Let's go to number 2. Now, in number 2, we are supposed to multiply and simplify. Multiply and simplify. So we've got 3.23 times 10 to the power 4 times 2.5 times 10 to the power -7 times 5.6 times 10 to the power -7. So in a problem like this, you're going to do some separations, kind of like a like term thing. So all these exponents, you're going to try to bring them together. Remember, these are just multiplying, right? They are just multiplying. The parentheses tells us that it's multiplying. So because of that, we're going to bring all these decimals together times 2.5 times 5.6 times 10 to the power 4 times 10 to the power -7 times 10 to the power -8. So for these decimals, we could just multiply them together. So I go to my calculator and then I multiply 3.23 times 2.5 times 5.6. And that gives me 45.22. And then I come to these exponents. I've got 10 to the power 4 times 10 to the power -7 times 10 to the power -8. Now, from rules of exponents, when you have exponents with the same base multiplying, the rule says add the powers or add the exponents. So with these three exponents, we're going to multiply them, and which means we're going to add the powers on top. So times 10 to the power 4 plus -7 plus -8. We're adding all of them. So 4 plus -7. Positive times negative is negative. So I have 4 minus 7 minus 8. 4 minus 7 is negative 3. Negative 3 minus 8. Negative 3 minus 8. So negative 3, I'm already at a negative. It's like you go to your bank account and you check the account, you're at a negative 3, which is not good. Oh, I've got to pay a bill of $8. So I'm going to take more money out of the account. So I'm going to go more negative. So that gives me 10 to the power negative 11. So negative 3 minus 8 is negative 11. And then I don't have to forget my 45.22. 45.22. But I'm supposed to simplify this as in make sure this is in scientific notation. I've got 45.22. For 45.22 to be in scientific notation, it has to be 4.522, which means I've got to move the point one time to the left. I've got to move the point one time to the left. Now, to do that, I'm going to have 4.522 times, because I move the point one time to the left, it changes from 45 to 4.5. And anytime you move it to the left, it means you're going to multiply by 10 to the power 1 to the power 1 because I only move the point one time. One time. After you do that, quickly double check. 4.522 times 10. Would that give me 45.22? Yes. So it means that I did the right thing. And then I've got times 10 to the power negative 11. That is this part. It's still there. 10 to the power 1 times 10 to the power negative 11. Again, from the rules of exponents, I've got it up here. It says you should add the powers. So I have 4.522 times 10 to the power 1 plus negative 11, like that. And 1 minus 11, because positive times negative is negative. So 1 minus 11 is negative 10. It's negative 10. So my final answer is going to be 4.522 times 10 to the power negative 10. That gives me my final answer. That gives me my final answer. All right, let's keep going. Number 3. In number 3, I've got 3,529,000,000. I've got to change that to scientific notation. Now, if I'm going to change that to scientific notation, then I've got to get a point here. 3.529. To do that, I have to consider this number, one more zero, as a 0.0. Remember, any number that has 0.0 at the end is that same number. So I've got a point here, so I'm moving the point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 times. 9 times. So that gives me 3.529 times 10 to the power 9. 3.529 times 10 to the power 9. Again, you could go back and then watch the video I made on scientific notation. All right, number 4. Number 4. In number 4, we've got 0.0000327, and we are going to be changing that to scientific notation. Okay, let's look at that. So, with this one, we have to move the point because we are trying to write it in scientific notation. We've got to move the point to this part so that we have 3.27. Now, to do that, Well, I'm going to rewrite it here so that I have spaces between them. So we've got to move the point to this point, to this part. So you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 times. 6 times. So we have 3.27. And because we are moving it to the right, multiply by 10 to the power. This time we do -6. 10 to the power -6. Okay? All right. Number 5. So in number 5, we've got divide and write the answer in scientific notation. 16,000 divided by 25,600,000,000. Okay. So here you've got options. The first one could be that you just go to the calculator and then decide to divide 16,000 by 25,600,000. Doing that is also fine. You can do that. So like with this example here, we could go 16,000 divided by 25,600,000,000 equals. And then you change this value to scientific notation. You change this value to scientific notation, which means you're moving the point so that you get 6.25, which means that you're going to multiply by 10 to the power a negative number, and that's it. Or, or you could also say that, okay, because I've got these numbers, 16,000 and 25,600,000,000, I could cancel out the zeros because I'm dividing, right? In other words, divide the top by 1,000, divide the bottom by 1,000. So if you divide the top by 1,000, and then you divide the bottom by 1,000, it's going to cancel off these 3 zeros so that you have 16 on top. And then you've got 25 million, 25,600,000 or 25.6 million. And then now you divide these two. That is also another option. There are so many ways to do this problem, but I think the fastest way is just to divide the two numbers and then get the point 0.00000000625 and then change that to scientific notation. Change that to scientific notation. So if we decide to do that, we got point 0.0000625. And now you're going to move the points. So moving the points, we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7, which is 6.25 times 10 to the power -7. -7. So when you move it to the right, you know that the power is going to be a negative. So we have -7 in this case. So no matter what, you would have to divide the two numbers. Okay. As I said, there are so many ways to do this. Or you work on the top, you change the top to scientific notation, you change the bottom, and then you divide the numbers. But I think the fastest or the quickest way is what I started with. All right, number 6. Number 6. Find the quotient. Remember, a quotient is a result of dividing numbers. The result of dividing numbers. So it means it's telling us that you are finding a result of division. So find the quotient, write in scientific notation, and that is the problem. 2.6 times 10 to the power -4 divided by 1.04 times 10 to the power -5. Okay. So with this one, again, you can divide these into 2 and deal with the numbers first. 2.6 out the decimals first. 2.6 divided by 1.04. So if you do that, if you put that in a calculator, 2.6 divided by 1.04, that gives you 2.5. Wow, which is good because 2.5 is in scientific notation. So that helps us. Now we're waiting for the exponent part. Now 10 to the power negative 4 divided by 10 to the power negative 5. The rule says you should subtract them. So minus negative 5. And negative times negative is positive. So I have a plus 5, which gives me 10 to the power 1. So times 10 to the power 1. And that's it. And that's it. All right. Number 7. In number 7, we've got 4 to the power 6 times 4 to the power 9. Remember, the rule says when you have two exponents multiplying, add the powers. So we've got 4 to the power 6 plus 9, which gives us 4 to the power 15. 4 to the power 15. All right, so I'm going to end this one here, and then I'm going to move to the next part of the study guide. Bye for now, and keep smiling.